Welcome to Verbal Pick Radio, where we give you a verbal image of life, and we are everyday people. Right now, I'm listening to Senator Tim Scott, Republican, South Carolina, gives his remarks on Biden's State of the Union address. And so far, Tim Scott, you sound like the black dude that white folks stick out in front of black people to deliver a message coming straight from the colonizer. The majority of black people, Tim Scott, would like for you to address the police brutality and all the killings that happened amongst black men and women in America. Tim Scott, people would actually like to hear you talk about the Voters' Rights Act that is discriminatory against minorities in Georgia. Tim Scott, we want you to point out your vision on how to close the economic gap. Tim Scott, we want your vision on how you would implement more jobs for minorities in America. Tim Scott, we want to hear how you're going to give black and brown justice in America. Those are the topics we waiting on you to hear you speak on, but yet you're just talking. You know? Now, we all understand that the country need infrastructure. You can go to certain cities and see the bridges, and you can see the street cracking, and you can see infrastructure falling apart. So that's common sense. It has to be fixed, right? Especially if you are the leading nation throughout the world, you got to have streets to drive on. So, Tim Scott, we'd like to hear you talk about how you make sure that there'll never be another insurrection on our nation's capital, Tim Scott. Tim Scott, we want to hear you talk about how you're going to unify black people and brown people as one to combat the police brutality and injustice in America. Tim Scott, we want to hear how you, since you the spokesperson of the Republican Party, we want to know why is it that over 75% of Democrats and over 75% of independents saw the verdict and the conviction of Derek Chauvin as just, and only 53% of your party did. Tim Scott, how are you going to get the Republican Party to align with the new thinking of America, i.e., getting rid of white supremacy? So, when you come out and now you're talking about how your grandfather would open up the newspaper and pretend to read, right? But couldn't read. But he just wanted to give you a symbolism that he could read. But you don't talk about why couldn't he read? Because it was against the law for blacks to read during your grandfather's time, and he was brought up in that time, Tim Scott. Tim Scott just said he's been called the N-word and Uncle Tom by liberals. I wonder why. Sitting here listening to your speech, we understand why. Right. So we'll continue on that at a later date, right here on Verbal Pick Radio.